All right, let's talk about sleep. It runs pretty much everything, our mental health, our physical health, but for so many of us, it just feels like this constant battle. So today, we're going to unpack a real science-backed toolkit to help you finally master this thing, how to fall asleep, stay asleep, and actually wake up feeling, rested. I mean, have you ever been there, just staring at the ceiling at 2 in the morning? You know that feeling. It's so frustrating, and it feels like it's just you, but it's not. It's a super common experience, and it's definitely not just in your head. And that's because you're actually in a fight. See, getting good sleep isn't this passive thing where you just close your eyes and it happens. Nope, it's an active process. It's like this delicate dance between two really powerful biological forces that are always at work inside you. But here's the really good news. You can learn to control those forces. You can win. This right here, this is the playbook. We're going to walk through the actual science-based tools that give you direct control over when you feel tired and when you feel awake. Okay, so first things first, let's meet the two main players in this whole game. You've got one clock that's all about chemical pressure, building up the need to sleep. And then you have a master clock, a timer that tells your body when it's time to feel sleepy.
So, on one side, you've got adenosine. The easiest way to think about this is like sleep hunger. The longer you're awake, the more of this stuff builds up and the sleepier you feel. Simple. Then, on the other side, you've got your circadian rhythm. This is your internal 24-hour master clock. It's in charge of timing everything, like when you feel alert versus when you feel tired. And look, to get good at sleep, you have to learn how to manage both of these.
So let's drill down on adenosine for a second. From the very moment you wake up, this molecule starts building up in your brain. It's a really simple, relentless process. The longer you're awake, the more adenosine you have, and the more that pressure to sleep builds. Okay, so what about your morning coffee? Well, this is exactly how it works. Caffeine is basically an adenosine impersonator. It swoops in and parks an adenosine's designated spot on your brain's receptors. And by blocking that spot, it stops the real sleepiness molecule from telling your brain that it's tired. But, and this is a big but, here's the catch. While caffeine is busy blocking those spots, adenosine doesn't just disappear. Oh no. It's still building up in the background, just waiting. So, when the caffeine finally wears off and vacates the parking spot, all that adenosine that's been waiting around comes flooding back in. And that, my friends, is the infamous caffeine crash. Okay, so that's the chemical pressure side of things. Now let's talk about that other force, the master clock. Because the single most powerful thing you can do to set your entire 24-hour rhythm for the whole day, it happens right in the first few minutes after you wake up. It all comes down to winning the morning. And the playbook here is actually surprisingly simple. All you have to do is get outside for just 2 to 10 minutes, pretty soon after you wake up. Now the key is, don't wear sunglasses. And you got to do this even on cloudy days. Why? Because the light intensity outside, even when it's gray, is way more powerful than anything you'll get indoors. It's the exact signal your brain is waiting for to start the day's clock. So what is this morning light actually doing? Well, it does two incredible things. First, it triggers a healthy spike of cortisol. That's the hormone that makes you feel alert and awake. But second, and this is the amazing part, it starts a countdown timer. About 12 to 14 hours after that morning sun hits your eyes, your brain will automatically start releasing melatonin, the hormone that makes you sleepy. You heard that right. Morning light literally programs your brain to fall asleep later that night. And this number right here, this is why you absolutely, positively have to get outside. Looking through your office window or your car windshield just doesn't cut it. The glass filters out way too much of the specific light your brain needs to see. I mean, the data is super clear. Viewing sunlight through a window is a whopping 50 times less effective for setting your clock. You have to get past that glass. All right, so you've won the morning. Awesome. Now we've got to secure the evening. There's a second super important light viewing trick that almost nobody talks about, and that is using the sunset as another anchor point for your brain. Think about it. Just like the special low-angled light you get at sunrise, the light at sunset has its own unique quality, that mix of yellows and blues. And that specific light sends another powerful, distinct signal to your brain's master clock. It's basically telling your brain, all right, shutdown sequence initiated. The day is officially ending. Now here's why that is so important. Getting that sunset signal makes your brain tougher. It actually helps protect your system from all the bad stuff later on. You know, the blue light from your phone, your laptop, all the artificial lights in your house. It's like taking out a biological insurance policy on your sleep for the rest of the night. Okay, so we've set our anchors in the morning and in the evening. Now comes the final phase. We have to protect the night. Because, and this is key, avoiding light at the wrong time is just as important as getting light at the right time. And you really need to hear this. Getting bright light exposure late at night, we're talking between about 11 p.m. and 4 a.m., it activates a part of your brain called the habula. Now get this, neuroscientists sometimes call it the disappointment nucleus. Seriously, that's because when it's active, it's linked to feeling down, to depression, to lower dopamine. So getting bright light at the wrong time literally tells your brain to feel bad.
So how do we get around this? Well, it turns out there's a simple biological hack. The special neurons in your eyes that talk to your master clock, they're mostly located in the bottom half of your retina. That means they're looking up at the upper part of your world. And this is no accident. They evolved to look for the sun, which is, up in the sky. So the rule for the evening is super simple. Kill the bright overhead lights. Instead, use dim lamps and place them low to the ground. That one little change helps you avoid sending your brain that powerful, hey, it's daytime signal.
All right, once you've really dialed in your light habits, morning sun, evening sun, and darkness at night, then, and only then, can you start adding some more advanced tools to fine-tune everything. So let's look at a couple options, starting with behaviors, and then, with a big asterisk, supplements.
So first, let's talk behaviors. Naps can be great, but you want to keep them under 90 minutes or so to avoid feeling groggy. But something that might be even more powerful is a practice called non-sleep deep rest, or NSDR for short. You can think of it like a specific kind of guided meditation that literally teaches your nervous system how to chill out on command. It's like learning how to pump the brakes on your brain, which is an amazing skill to have when you're lying in bed trying to fall asleep.
Okay, now, before we even whisper the word supplements, let's be crystal clear on something. This is a non-negotiable rule. Behavior first. Always. Your light habits, your exercise, how you eat, that's the foundation. That's 90% of the work right there. Supplements are only for that last little 10% of fine-tuning. They are never, ever the first place you should look.
So with that huge disclaimer out of the way, and please always talk to your doctor, here are 3 common supplements that have some science behind them. You've got magnesium threonate and theanine, which can help your mind calm down and relax. Then there's apigenin. That's a compound from chamomile. It can help with sleep, but you have to be really careful with this one. It is a potent estrogen inhibitor, so that's a really important thing to know before you even consider it.
So, if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. You are not just a passive victim when it comes to bad sleep. You have direct mechanical control over the 2 main forces that run the show, that chemical pressure and that master clock. The control levers are right there in front of you. So the only real question is, what's the first change you're going to make tomorrow morning?